listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Revenge After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Revenge After Show.
Welcome, everybody. Bing is for doing, and we're here doing another AfterBuzz TV After Show for Revenge, Season 2, Episode 5, called Forgiveness. That's right, I forgive you guys.
I'm not forgiving Gabby yet.
Oh, man. Inside joke. Maybe we'll have time to explain it by the end, but
I think Kris Jenner's pretty, and Katherine doesn't.
All right.
That's really it.
I just don't want to look like Kris Jenner, but thank you.
Well, Katherine got a new haircut and hairstyle.
Thank you.
And it looks kind of like Kris Jenner, but she's upset because she doesn't want to be compared to Kris Jenner.
All right, so when I said we talk about it by the end of the show,
Sorry.
I meant the beginning of the show.
Yeah. Well, you said forgiveness. It was kind of appropriate. Sorry.
Fair enough.
I wanted to get it out there.
So we found forgiveness.
I'm found forgiveness.
All right.
Thank you.
We can go on
now.
Luckily, we can go on with the show. I, of course, am your host, Phil Svitek, joined alongside
Gabrielle Loren, what's up?
the mean-spirited Gabrielle Loren.
I'm Anna Koppel.
And I'm Katherine Tulich. Hello.
Yes, welcome. Gabby, you always like to talk about the quotes. So what did you think of tonight's quote?
Well,
Opening and or beginning?
The one I wrote down was pretty much she was saying when you have open wounds, forgiveness is the most unnatural of human emotions. And I can understand that because it is really hard to forgive. It's not something that does come naturally. You have to work on it. Something that you have to, give thought to. What about you guys?
I definitely think forgiveness is unnatural. I'm a Scorpio, so that's part of the reason.
That's right.
But what about you guys?
Well, Phil, I'm also a Scorpio. And
Wow. When's your birthdays, guys?
his is the 10th and mine is the 18th. So
That's scary. You don't have to say your birthday, but what are your thoughts on forgiveness?
Well, it's hard if it's fresh, I think, which is kind of if you don't have the advantage of time. But it's interesting, isn't forgiveness almost kind of the opposite of revenge? I mean, if you forgive someone, you don't want revenge, right? So it's almost like the antithesis of revenge.
That's right, and we'll talk about it more at length later on, but today was all the interesting conversation between Cara and Emily and that whole thing, but we'll get into that. First, let's start with the storyline that boggles our minds, to be honest.
I have to say I zone out on this storyline, but go ahead, guys.
All right, well, we're, of course, talking about Declan and Jack Porter, storyline of them selling the bar. And who is this mystery guy? We don't quite know.
And we also kind of thought, I kind of thought that his buying the bar was going to be a secret, that he was going to sort of and force them into bankruptcy or something so that then he would buy the bar. But it was kind of like, hey, why don't you call my guy? He'll set you up, and then I can buy the bar from you. And everybody's like, okay, that'll work out great. Declan's on board, Jack's on board. They fixed it up in a few minutes, and everybody's happy. I don't understand.
That doesn't make any sense. Is that the end of it?
Go ahead, you.
I was going to say that I honestly have a feeling that this guy is trying to get to the Graysons and is doing so by buying this bar. And I don't know the reason why yet, but I feel like he's trying to get closer to the source of what's going on in the Hamptons.
I feel like we're gonna see a big twist with this, especially heading into November with sweeps months and all of that. But I just feel like, especially with this kind of storyline, and if they're not going to spend that much time on it, you need to layer in something. And even if it's just the stereotypical, like they did last time, them on the phone, like, yeah, I'm gonna make sure this guy sells me the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it was, right? I feel like we need that dun 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 moment of like,
there wasn't
I'll let
any.
the Graysons know.
Yeah. Now, where was that? That's
you
what I'm
know?
saying. This just storyline. I'm like,
But-
I just don't get it.
Also, he did make a Charlotte Declan reference when visiting the bar, and to me, that says he knows a lot more about their lives than.
He certainly knew
He
about
should.
Jax.
Yeah.
Which isn't that strange because we don't meet this character until I think last episode.
But here's the tough
So-
part again. We're just kind of we're still speculating. Everything that we're saying is a speculation upon a speculation because there's no solid evidence of anything
Yeah, and we're not getting any lead that it will develop into anything yet.
yet.
Right.
Yet.
Well, the only thing we did see was last episode when he was on the phone with that young guy who helped rob his own house.
Yeah, but where's this
so
guy
he's
now?
in
And
cahoots.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
with
think
him.
for now it's a lot of speculation,
Yeah,
and that's
Yeah.
which is good.
it. Speaking of speculation, let's talk about the future of Nolcorp.
I got a bad feeling about this.
I do too.
Me too.
Let's start with Padma and Nolan's relationship.
Well, as we said last week, Padma has more of an agenda, and she obviously does.
But does she love him? I'm kind of now I'm confused after this episode.
Are you kidding?
Love him.
I
What?
don't think so.
No,
No,
love?
I'm just saying that, like, even if she had no. No. I just was laughing at Phil because even if, like, she had no ulterior motive, she doesn't love him. They've been on, like, 2 dates. Come on.
Yeah, but they spent all night together.
Oh, you're such a romantic.
He's a
That was
Scorpio.
I was wondering if that.
sweet.
I was gonna ask you guys if that line ever worked on any one of you. Hey, that means let's have breakfast, but it's 10:30 at night. That means we have a lot of time to kill.
No, that's
love
sleazy. That's sleazy.
I actually, it's the way you say it.
And depends who's saying it, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Gabrielle Mann was saying it.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Weird.
Gabriel Man can say that to me at any point.
Well, all right. So, what is Padma's motive then? Exactly, and
It may very well be just to protect him because it started with started going through his finances saying like, hey, we're being audited. Like, let's get to the bottom of all of this. It may just be to protect him. Like, I want to make sure that David Clarke was not a part of this business when he...
But then she lied to him later
Yeah.
on when he said, "Where'd you get this? I got it from your
Yeah,
father."
and I did
Anything?
nothing.
Yeah.
But it could be that, sometimes there's no reason to bring something up until there's actually a cause for concern. Like, let's not get hysterical about this. I don't know.
Fair enough. Gabby, any thoughts? Maybe Catherine?
Well,
Or-
she has
first.
actually initiated something by her action because now that Aiden came in and said that, now we've got to figure out whether David Clarke. So basically, by her bringing it up, which was kind of buried, this David Clarke connection, they now realise that Grayson's could have some controlling interest over Nolcorp. So was that her intention, or was that just the fact
Well,
that she brought it up and now that whole story, that is now put his company in danger?
Here's the thing with that. Unless she makes a play to be part of the board as Aiden is, and we'll talk about him in a moment, but she's really bringing down her own future with with Nolcorp.
Yeah.
I think ultimately, unless she has a bigger play. So if she's protecting Nolan, that's a stupid idea.
That's right.
Which I think she is. I think she's protecting Nolan.
I don't think so. I think she's got some other agenda going on. I think she deliberately dug into, alerted the Graysons to this. I think that was her motive, to alert them and dig up this David Clarke thing. That's
Yeah.
my feeling.
It's just hard for me to believe that because of their chemistry. Like, I see
She's a
Padma,
romantic too.
Who's the romantic?
and I'm like, Padma really cares about Nolan, and she just wants his, acceptance and wants him to, be interested in her.
Here's why part of me doesn't think that she actually loves him, because he gets on the phone and the first thing he says, "Hello, sweetheart." Like, what? You're on a date, dude.
Yeah.
That's true. Not good form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's used to it.
Anyway.
She deserves it. Well, okay. My confusion with Nolcorp is what Aiden's investment is in it. He talking to Daniel about it. I'm not exactly sure what's going on
Well,
there.
here's how I take it as, because they had that, Emily and him had that big blowout, or not a big blowout, but a blowout, and he said, "You'd much rather have me as an ally than an enemy."
Right.
Yeah.
And now he's an enemy. That's it.
But he's Takeda's proxy. That's why he's having meetings with the Graysons, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he personally is not involved in any investment or anything with the company. Isn't he just acting as Takeda's voice?
I think so, but as soon as I think initially he was acting as Takeda's voice, helping out Emily, and then as soon as Emily kind of not kicked him out, whatever the word would be, but then, you know, as he said to Daniel, you know, you'll be behind your father's desk and I'll be a board member.
So that was the play I wasn't quite sure of. Was he making that, telling Daniel about the connection with David Clarke and that they may have some overall ruling over Nolcorp because he's trying to help Emily or because he's trying to do something for himself?
I think at this point he's trying to do it for himself. I think Emily made her choice and it's a bad choice.
However, what is Aiden's motive? Like his whole mission was to help Emily, and being that now they're not working together, what's his role anymore? Why doesn't he just leave?
And all this was over a cell phone. I mean, really?
Yeah.
He's going to turn on her over a cell phone?
Yeah, I don't think he's turned on her. I actually think he's still got her interested.
I think he's just not
still
going
got
to
her back.
communicate with her.
Yeah,
But he's
I
gonna
think
still help.
actually ultimately he's still got her back. That's what I think. That's why I'm not sure why he's done this move, but I think it's still for Emily.
But talk about forgiveness. He's got to or she's got to forgive him.
She does.
And
Well,
move on. Exactly.
I think ultimately, if he knows the weakness in the company right now is splitting up Conrad and Daniel.
Yeah.
So if he can get Daniel a little bit smart, which thank God Daniel's getting a little bit smart every week.
Inch by
A little
inch.
bit, just a tad.
Yeah. I love even in the interviews with him, he's so happy that his character's kind of brightening up. So
I thought it was very funny him being British as an actor, and he had that whole scene about the Brits, and then he said, "I've got to go to the loo," but he said it in American.
But
I found that funny.
That's a good point, though, that he is spilling his guts about Grayson Global, and Aiden brought that up. He was like, you know, like, we Brits have this reputation for being stuffy or whatever the word. Reserved. And was this before? I think that may have been before his blow with Emily, but
Yeah.
but still, I don't know what his whole mission is.
It was, you know what? I'm actually slowly coming to your guys' side because, especially the conversation that he had with Ashley at the bar once Daniel went to the loo. You know, and saying like, "Hey, you guys make a great couple," and you know what? I should go after Emily Thorpe. Oh, it's actually Emily Thorpe. You know, and that whole ordeal makes me believe that, you know what? He's setting up something and for a greater play. I don't know what it is.
He is, and I think that plays into where my news was last week with those pictures. Remember how Aiden's dancing with Ashley, and you kind of see it in the trailer or the teaser, and Emily's dancing.
Maybe they just
It's at
double
the
dating.
wedding. It's just at the wedding, no?
Yeah, but they're switching groups, like Aiden's with Ashley, Daniel's with Emily.
Interesting.
So something goes on.
So you know what? You guys got me back to your camp.
All right.
Hey.
That's what we're here to do, Phil.
Hey, no, I like, again, we kind of, our collective goal is to work through the discussion and come to,
A reasonable conclusion.
there you go. And hopefully you fans will agree or disagree. If you disagree, let us know, because again, you are the different perspective, you know, to our panel, and we like hearing that. And you guys always have pretty good theories and things like that. And I love it when some of those do come true. That's right. Now, the way to share is go to iTunes. You know, obviously, the guys listen to the podcast, so just take a moment real fast as you're downloading to rate and comment. You know, it takes about 20 seconds to download an episode, so take that 20 seconds, and while you're waiting for it, just leave a little comment. And also let a friend know.
And I do want to also acknowledge our YouTube commenters. We get a lot of commenters there, and we appreciate that love as well.
Yeah, we got a lot of good comments on YouTube this week. You know, people were saying, "Oh, I agree with Catherine. I agree with Anna." Gabby, I don't know if they agreed with this week.
Thanks, Phil.
No, Gabby got acknowledged though.
She did.
I did.
Yeah, so it was good.
These guys are more my
Thankfully,
ex.
it was positive. You guys are killing me. I'm going to give up hosting. I'm serious.
Don't do that.
Stop.
I was only teasing. These guys are more of my eyes and ears for the comments.
So no.
I try to read as many as I can, but I don't always have
We're
to.
taking people out like one at a time tonight. That just first it's Catherine, now Gabby.
We're taking this revenge show too seriously.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's gonna be next, Phil? Who's
next?
We got to tone it down a bit.
That's right. All right, let's move on to kind of the bigger thing here. Well, one last thing that I want to say about the future of Nolcorp. It's interesting how Conrad passed it on to Daniel, and therefore he's kind of out of the loop on this whole ordeal. So again, that's why, in terms of another argument why, you know, Aiden is still on Emily's side is because of that fact.
Because he brought it to Daniel's attention rather than that's what I believe too. Yeah.
So, all right, but let's get into the kind of heart of the episode, where we'll obviously now be spending a lot of time talking about Kara.
Yes.
In various ways that she appears. Let's start with the way that she gets introduced to the story. And I love how right off the bat, within the first 5 minutes, there she is. Hello, Victoria.
That was just one of those classic revenge scenes, wasn't it? With Victoria there and
with the tool in her hand.
The garden shears in the hand, and what's going to happen? And then you hug your enemy, don't you?
Your face.
You hug the enemy and embrace them. I love it. Such a revenge thing to do.
What did you guys think of their first conversation? It was very much like, oh, nice place you have here. You know, you could always see your enemies coming. Oh, it's tough to know my enemies nowadays. I mean, where do these, in terms of the two women, where do they stand? Absolute hatred for each other, now masked by something weird. Like, what is their stance?
Well, I mean, they still don't know what's going on with Gordon, so I think there's that thing too, that does Kara think that maybe they know where Gordon is? Maybe she's trying to get information. I mean, is there some sort of agenda going on why she's come to Victoria? Or do you think there's just genuine forgiveness there on Kara's part? The past is the past?
I think Kara may be seeking an ally. She said something about they've both been betrayed by David, and she said, and now Gordon. And so there may be an alliance that she's trying to build.
Yeah.
What, you disagree?
Yeah, because the thing is, she's still calling Gordon. So she'll say to Victoria's face that, yeah, we were both deceived by Gordon, but at the same time, she's been working with Gordon the entire time. And I don't think that she had mentioned something about not seeing Gordon for 20 years, and then he came by a few months ago. I think she's lying.
Well, she's lying. Do they know that they were married? I don't think Victoria knows, right?
I mean, she's married, so it's not like just some guy that dropped her off and was looking out for her best interest.
Yeah, so she's lying to them.
Yeah.
And she'd actually been married to him for 20 years, which I want to do a little timeline on this because she left David when? How old was Emily when?
After she drowned or whatever?
Right.
So what
5 maybe?
5 or
Yeah.
6, I guess,
6?
yeah.
How old is she now?
Emily?
Yeah.
Let's
So I
say
guess like
25.
25, 26, I guess, right?
So she immediately married Gordon?
Once she left.
Because Gordon and Victoria are the ones who took her out of the mental institution. So it's very possible that she went with Gordon after that.
Well, yeah, and I think
That's what she
originally,
said,
I think
right?
Gordon did. This is I guess we might get some backstory at some point, but originally Gordon was supposed to kill her, right? But where they fell in love and where they started sort of being together, if we assume that they got married because they were in love, we don't really know that story yet, do we? Why it went from Gordon being assigned to kill her to now he's protecting her and they've got married.
Right.
Yeah, that's still a part we haven't had filled in yet.
And Gordon is such a strange character to me because it's like he's not with the initiative we learned because Victoria is afraid that the initiative, if anything else is exposed, the initiative is going to come after all of them, and it's not because of Gordon. So he's a very confusing character to me in general. Was he just hired as an individual?
I think he's just one of those. I think he's just a typical mercenary, you know. And if things turn, then he'll go whichever way. In terms of Kara, I think it's one of those things where, like, you know, you're trying to create a safety net, but then it's like, okay, well, I know I would rather be with Gordon if given a choice. But if Gordon's not returning my phone calls, if something happened to him, I need something. I need some stability, something to go off of. And then, you know what? Let me see what I can get here with Victoria.
But I also think it's that whole thing of, you know, that what they always say, keep your enemies closer, that classic
could be.
line.
Yeah.
So I sort of feel like, too, that she felt like maybe being there, she'll get more information. She might sort of
And she
get
was
more
pretty inquisitive.
Yeah.
You know, about like, oh, you know, your captor, I couldn't believe what had happened, blah, blah.
And she thinks she left Aiden tied up in a motel room.
Well,
That
she
is
thinks
true.
Well, she did leave him tied up in the motel room. She thinks he may still be there. So she might be going, just after information. Somebody knows something. And she might be looking for Amanda. She saw that on TV.
Yeah. So what better way to get the truth, as everyone is always after Victoria.
And never gets.
They never get the truth.
They never get the truth.
Lowercase t.
Except for Treadwell.
Treadwell never gets the truth either. Let's talk about Conrad and Victoria. Again, I think, again, this season, my prediction has always been that they're going to have to work together because they have no other choice.
Exactly.
And I love Conrad's marriage proposal to her.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, sorry. Can I just mention one thing? Because I
Go
think
ahead.
it's very strange. Did you guys catch this when Cara said to Victoria, why did you save me all those years ago? And then Victoria mentioned to both of them, like, we both fell victim to David's deception. So why did David have deception?
Okay, so just a good point to bring up, but does that mean then if Cara believes that Victoria actually sent Gordon to save her, then she wouldn't think of Victoria as so much an enemy? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that part of the story is unclear, but I also just wonder why they said, like, that's very unclear. But why did she say, and did Cara agree that David was deceptive?
Well, I felt that was hinting at something that we haven't found out yet.
Yeah.
That line to me was like how deceptive he was to both of us. I think there's more about David Clarke we are
we
yet
don't
to
know.
find out.
Yeah.
That's, you know.
Sorry, I wanted to bring that up because I was like, why did they use such a strong word like that?
Yeah, it
He's
was, but
played
it
up
was-
to be such a good character. And
But it was one of those moments almost like they would look at, you know, what the old-fashioned look at the camera and ba-ba-ba-ba moment. I thought that line was one of those sort of, this is hinting at something bigger.
yeah.
He's played up to be such a good character, aside from being a terrorist.
Yes. Apart from that.
Yeah. Well, we all know that that's really not what happened,
Yeah.
or so we
That's so
think.
funny.
but-
Yeah.
That's so funny.
All right, so back to Victoria and Conrad. Interesting marriage proposal, interesting idea. And again, as these kind of small factions are, you know, forming around them and, you know, whatever higher powers they're playing to, again, Conrad and Victoria have to, by default, be together. What are your guys' feelings about that, them working again together, just, you know, not really having a choice, perhaps, but...
They deserve each other. I mean,
true.
honestly.
Do we still think that Cara has some problems mentally? That, like, do we think she's better now, or do we think that
I think we're yet to find that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she still could be crazy.
We should definitely mention in predictions what you guys think, because I'm curious
I think Kara's...
where you think it's going to go.
I think anybody who drowns a child, let alone their own child,
Might have a few problems.
yeah, it's probably not ever going to be 100%, you know?
Let's talk about Victoria, who had her... Remember the jail episode?
Yes.
Remember the length she
Yes.
went to get Daniel out?
Right. Yes.
So let's talk about crazy for a moment.
Yeah.
Well, they're all
Yeah.
crazy, right?
So just pointing that fact out about
Yeah.
Victoria.
Yeah, but don't forget, I mean, this prediction, but don't forget when Madeline said something about Emily has to confront her craziness as well. So I don't know where all that's leading.
But Madeline also has to
Oh.
confront, because her mom's coming in, so they find
Yeah.
out they have more in common.
So
than
I
they
think
realize.
there's a lot coming up yet with
Yeah.
all the mothers.
I mean, Emily's got the genetics, too, to go down that same path.
Yeah.
As long as she doesn't try and drown Carl. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, God. Takes a whole nother turn, season 3.
I'm excited to see the marriage, though. The wedding, I think that'll be...
You need a good wedding at the Hamptons. I mean, you've always... Well, the thing is with the show, you've got to have the flashy parties and stuff as well, which we haven't had for a couple of weeks. So throwing in a wedding's a good way to do that.
Yeah, just a flashy funeral. That was it.
Yeah.
Well, it was more like a remembrance.
Yeah, because there was
Remember.
nobody.
But I think we need a killer party back, and it looks like we've got one.
All right. Well, we did have the baby shower. That was kind of fun with the strippers.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
Oh,
always
yeah.
a good party when you bring strippers.
We're losing the classiness a little.
Let's
Let's face it, you need a party at least every 2 weeks in this show.
you do. Let's talk about Cara and Emily and Amanda and that whole triangle. So that obviously very interesting in terms of there were so many great lines of, you know, trying to figure out the truth or trying to make a human connection with all these people, right? Cara's trying to make a connection with Amanda, but obviously that's not her real daughter. And Emily's trying to make a connection with Cara, who doesn't know that's her actual daughter.
Yeah.
And in some ways, Amanda's trying to make a connection with Emily, but until the truth comes out eventually, you know, they didn't have that. And so weird how in their crazy world, somehow they found resolve through all of this.
All of them, or
I think all. I think all of them.
About here?
We're talking about the triangle, but I think ultimately they came to some sort of resolve.
Yeah, I mean, there were some pretty touching scenes, really, in the, you know, with the baby. By the way, when was
Carl.
that baby called Carl?
We just.
How did that happen?
Hey, it's interesting because we figured it out through the subtitles
Subtitles
before
they mention it, and suddenly the kid is called Carl. Is that because the grandmother is Cara? I don't know, but no one explained it. Suddenly it was Carl.
Yeah,
Ugly.
I just take it as is. I don't know. I didn't dig too deep.
I was trying to think of if there was a hidden like symbolism to it. I was spelling it backwards to see if it spelled anything, just to see, because you never know with these writers what they're trying to do.
I don't know. I mean, the only one that's kind of that I could make a guess at is David and Goliath. You know, David Clarke being. I don't know. But apart from what's that?
I said, whoa.
No, but apart from anyone else on the show in terms of like what their name means,
right.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I guess someone just threw it in. I don't know.
Mason Treadwell, I like his name because he treads well.
Yeah, that's a cool name. I like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Carl. I don't know if there's too much behind that.
I have to say, just sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I have to say, like with Amanda, faux Amanda, I really felt her in this episode. I was really kind of much more sympathetic. I really liked her scenes. I think she was with the baby and with sort of talking to Emily and talking to the mother. I thought this was kind of one of the best episodes I've seen with her. I thought there was some real emotion there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. She seemed more real and relatable.
Yes, exactly.
And not slutty and deceptive.
Yes,
so.
exactly.
I think what was most touching for me, or what made me sad, was when Cara was describing Amanda when she was young, and she said she was so gentle she wouldn't even kill a spider.
Yes.
And, you know, no matter how big or small, she would make me take it in a glass and take it outside. And it was just like this real loss of who she was and her identity. And so it was
a nice reminder, you know.
Yes and no, because I think that part of her, while it might still be there in part, like deep down, that's not who she is anymore, and that she's never going to be that gentle again.
But she was when she didn't kill Gordon last season finale. You know,
she was never gentle. Just because you don't murder someone doesn't make you a gentle person. At least in my eyes. You come that close to murdering someone, but you just don't do it. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, maybe the journey ultimately for Emily is finding that gentle side to her yet again, because, you know, this may or may not be the truth with a capital T, but ultimately David Clarke didn't want her to go on this journey of revenge. And so maybe the journey of revenge for her is to go back to the start of, you know what, I got to be kind to animals and all that stuff, you know, and forgive ultimately.
Well, I think that was the essence of the show tonight. I think we did see a sort of softer side to Emily tonight, don't you think?
I agree.
The mother,
Yeah.
like, I mean, she was hearing this incredible conversation that a mother was saying not to her, not to her daughter. But
She was hugging,
eavesdropping it.
She was hugging a door and crying. Yeah,
she did not have that moment of, you know, bonding with her real mother. I mean, that was very sad, and also the fact that she finally revealed the truth to Amanda about Carl's. The fact that Jack is, I mean, I just felt she was so much softer in this show. I'm sure that won't stay like that, but I really felt that we saw the kinder side of Emily tonight.
And speaking of that, she was also much kinder to, towards Nolan.
Yes.
She said, I apologize. And
there was a whole new Emily tonight. I felt there was.
Yeah, and she genuinely wants to help Nolcorp, and she doesn't want it going the way that it could possibly go.
Yeah.
Right. Aiden said that's not my concern, and she said it's my concern.
Yeah.
She's very protective of him.
Right.
So.
Right.
So, so definitely a lot of things, and again, just so many weird conversations like this, and yet they all somehow found human emotion through that.
However, the whole point of her revenge was to not get caught up in her emotions, according to Takeda.
That's what I'm saying. This might lead her into trouble. I think tonight's show was about that softer side coming out and the real emotions coming out with her mother and with, you know, being kinder to Amanda, being kinder to Nolan. But that's, you know, that doesn't get the results she needs. So it'll be interesting to see where this leads.
My long-term prediction is that ultimately she'll find a place that revenge is not the way, right? If we're going at it in terms of an infinity symbol, she'll end up back where she started, at a gentler side, because otherwise she's no better than the damn Graysons, who are nothing but conniving assholes. Yeah. There you go.
Which is true.
Fair enough. Let's talk about Mason Treadwell and this whole thing and how he
loved seeing Mason back.
Well, we knew Mason was going to be in the episode from the preview, or not the preview, but the little kind of recap that they give us, and we saw a lot of Mason, so it was like, okay, Mason's going to be back.
But it's always such a delight to see him and the actor Roger Bart on screen, so I always love when he's in the show.
But by the way, we'll talk about this because one of the favorite things is him just appearing in all these random places. And remember the conversation between Conrad, Victoria, and Kara of like, you know, this is a steel fortress. Anyone that tries to get here will be shot instantly. And then they were kind of talking about Gordon. But and then it's funny how Mason got in, like, your staff's really underpaid. Yes. I think I can get in easily.
Yeah, exactly.
So interesting kind of comparison of like how this fortress is not that watertight.
Exactly, especially if you underpay your staff.
Yeah. That was good.
Yeah.
Let that be a lesson.
Yeah.
Do you think that has anything to do with elections coming up? And do you think that was just sort of like a line they slipped in?
For the 99?
He's talking, yeah, exactly.
Could be. Could be. Well, I think this show does relate to that whole issue of the 1%.
Sure.
And, yeah, and we like to see, it's definitely
1% are assholes. That one is unfortunately saying.
I mean, you know, come on. That's a big part of the appeal of this show is seeing.
Yeah. And if you underpay, look what's going to happen.
Yeah, what's going to happen.
That's right. But it's interesting, you know, when he's talking, this is a little bit later in the episode, when he's talking with Victoria, he says, like, at first he kind of came back because her story about her kidnapping was an ultimate blend of fact and fiction. And now, as he explains it, you know, now that Kara's back and things like that, like, it's really becoming this whole mystery. And then he wants to unravel the truth. And what role is Treadwell going to play in the next couple episodes?
Well, pretty significant, don't you think? I mean, he's someone that knows the truth. He's discovered the truth. And it's not because someone told him the truth. He's figured this out. So if he can figure it out, can't other people?
Well, how much of the truth does he know versus...
Well, he knows a big part of the truth, which was revealed at the end, right? He knows who the real identity... I mean, he doesn't know yet who the real Amanda is, but he certainly knows this is not the real Amanda, which I think is pretty key to this story, isn't it?
The only way I could see something being taken care of is if they burn those files and he has no master copy, and they make him look delusional and crazy, because if he has this information, it's just going to ruin everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're somehow going to have to kind of discredit his name in this.
Or kill him.
Or kill him. They could possibly kill him. Yes. But I think, actually, it's not beyond, obviously, Conrad to kill anyone. So,
but it's not Conrad's, like, Conrad's not going to be the one to kill him.
He's more a threat to Emily now. A big threat to Emily.
Or Aiden is going to have to kill him.
Yeah.
But you know, and not to be facetious, how much of the truth does Mason Treadwell really know? I mean, because all this truth that we're getting, no matter what, comes with a perspective. And depending on which side of that you're on, you have a skewed vision of the truth. You know, there's never one ultimate truth. I mean, we as the audience certainly don't even know that. And I highly doubt a person as great as Mason Treadwell is knows the full truth of whatever is going on.
But he's digging to try and find it, isn't he? He knows there's something fishy going on. Put it that way. He's trying to find the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anyone else in that circle has any notion that Amanda is not the real Amanda and that Emily, you know. Yeah. Don't you think?
Except
I mean, he's
didn't
the only
Victoria
one.
say something in one episode where she was questioning if that was really Amanda?
But I don't think she's ever suspected yet that Emily could be the real Amanda.
Yeah, I don't think
she
has.
No. Well, what about this? How suspicious do you guys think Mason is of Emily? You know, because as with their interactions, especially in the hospital, and like, hey, I'm the godmother, I think you should leave right now. You've overstayed, or whatever she says.
Well, it'd be interesting. It wouldn't be a hard link to maybe put that together if he starts doing a bit more. I mean,
More research.
more research.
If he has an entire file and sees that they were in juvie together, I don't think it would be.
It would be hard to put together, yeah.
And there are pictures.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, right. That's a good point.
What was his blog called? The Treadwell something.
Oh, I forgot.
Remember, guys, from season 1? Maybe I shouldn't have asked that question. Let us down a bad path right there. But I think he's going to open up his blog again.
Yeah.
And that'll be interesting. And it's interesting. This is more for predictions, but it's great that it's coming at the time that the wedding's going to happen.
It's the Treadwell report.
There you go,
Thank
the Treadwell
you. Well, that
report.
was easy
Thank
to
you.
remember.
Thank
We
you.
should have remembered that.
I knew it was something generic and boring.
I kept
but,
thinking it was something a little more creative, but
all right. Well, the last thing I wanted to talk about was Emily and Amanda. Although we kind of talked about it, but them coming to a good kind of place.
And I like the way Amanda, I mean, because I always felt up till now Amanda's kind of gone after Jack, wanted Jack, didn't really care that Emily had feelings for Jack. And sort of, I really felt like tonight that she acknowledged, because it was, even though Emily had told her a terrible lie, she kind of forgave her fairly quickly because she sort of understood that, well, Jack thought I was you. Like, she felt, I think she acknowledged it. I've probably done just as bad as what you've done to me.
Because she's lying too. She's lying to her love.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's the same situation.
And I feel like she kind of threw it in her face a lot. She's like, well, Jack loves me. I'm with Jack now. And she said, you know, you love Jack. And so.
Well, I think ultimately, for this, the reason why it all kind of worked and they forgave each other was it stemmed from the line of them in the hospital where she says to him, you know, Carl's happy, Jack's happy. You know, and I think for them, they understood, like, you know what, we got to let Jack be happy. Jack's going through a lot. And the only way this is going to work is, A, for Emily to tell the truth, and then for Amanda to forgive it, and that's it, and move on.
But Jack still doesn't know the truth because he still thinks she's Amanda.
But he can't know the truth because the truth will kill him, unfortunately.
Yeah.
He's been through too much. He doesn't need the truth.
No, not yet, anyway.
The truth is no good. Anything from you guys that you would want to add that might have not necessarily fit into our chosen topics before we get into news and gossip and things like that? Just any random stuff, perhaps, even if it's quotes.
No.
No?
No.
No one's got anything?
No.
All right, fair enough. Well, a fairly decent coverage of the episode, I thought. Again, I'm sure there's stuff we missed, so in case we did, let us know. Again, we don't claim to be perfect. We just try to open and start the discussion, but hopefully you guys as fans will complete it. But why don't we get into some news and gossip for this week?
AfterBuzz TV News.
So I saw an article online that GQ covered with Emily Van Camp. So if you guys have magazine GQ or want to go grab it, she's in it. And they pretty much cover the 5 things you didn't know about Emily. Well, her in real life. So without going into too much detail, I'll give you the 5 things. So 1, she's a zombie fanatic. She loves AMC's Walking Dead, which you guys just saw on AfterBuzz TV if you're watching.
She should listen to it.
Yeah, right? So she does love zombie movies and zombie TV shows. Number 2, she is a tomboy. She would pick a beer over champagne any day.
Good Canadian girl.
Yep. Number 3, she fishes. Number
Good Canadian
4.
girl.
Yeah, exactly. Canada, hockey players all over the place.
Yeah.
And she actually did play hockey too when she was growing up.
Interesting. So that's the 6th thing we didn't know.
Well, it was actually within one of the topics, but I didn't want to give it away because I wanted people to read it.
Fair enough.
4, she can be socially awkward. She says that she can be standoffish when meeting people that she doesn't know. And 5, she gets starstruck, but it's only happened once.
With who? She didn't say.
Meryl Streep.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, on Just Jared. What's up with the music? Just Jared. Ashley is actually helping Josh Bauman move his furniture, and they were at a shop together in LA.
Ashley?
Ashley.
How do you pronounce her last name?
I don't know, because I was actually going to ask you guys before the show. That's why I didn't say it.
Is it Medic.
Looks like that,
Yeah,
doesn't
maybe
it?
Medekwe.
Let me look it
Or
up.
Medekwe.
It's spelled
Medekwe?
Madekwe.
Medekwe?
Medekwe.
All right.
Not sure.
I'll
But yeah, that's all my stuff. But you have some stuff,
Ashley
right?
was
Anna?
helping him?
Yeah.
Josh, not
was helping him with
Emily?
furniture. No.
What's going on there?
I don't know. But she was helping out.
like revenge is coming to life. Crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the cool part. Ashley and Emily are really close.
Okay.
Like you can see through
So
their
she got
Twitter
the
pictures.
approval.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I feel like there was a written submitted approval. Like, hey, all right, that's okay.
It gets confusing that their names are Ashley
And Emily?
Actually, yeah.
In
Yeah,
real life
everything's-
and on
I
camera.
know. Did they
crazy.
do that deliberately? Maybe.
I don't know.
Just, yeah.
It must be
That's why
easier
I was
for
like,
directors.
Emily in real
Yeah,
life.
maybe that was it.
Like, hey, Emily, come here.
I think
Yeah.
we're starting to figure out they didn't have too much thought about a lot of names on this show.
Yeah.
There
Carl
is no
Carl.
symbolism.
Oh, we'll call the baby Carl. Why
Yeah, that'll be
not?
fine.
So funny.
Oh.
Maybe they're just Hampton easy names. I don't know. Anyway, what do you got for us, Anna?
I have some serious spoilers. So.
All right, play the bumper. There we
Spoiler
go.
alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler.
Okay, so we already know from the little teaser that they give us that next episode is going to be the wedding. From what paint, they're saying that it's going to be very similar to, I think it was episode 15, that was the Fire and Ice episode
Right.
that they had been building up to the entire season. So there's going to be a lot of action. And Ashley Madekwe.
Let me see this. I will read her name.
Madekwe.
I can't.
What origin
I
is
can't
that? I'd love
listen
someone to
spell.
let us know.
She
Madekwe.
said
Sounds African.
that it's going to be a big event. So
Does that mean a lot of people are going
Yes,
to
I do.
die or something's
Okay.
going to happen?
And then this is still from Wet Paint. It looks like Conrad, I think we may have actually seen this in the preview too. He's going to be dragged out of the wedding in handcuffs.
Yeah, I
But
seem to see that, yeah.
he will escape from being behind bars one more time.
Yikes.
So he will.
Did he make bail?
It looks well. The episode is called Penance,
Interesting.
so we'll see.
All right, so I'm gonna guess Ashley Madekwe.
Madekwe?
I don't
I'm gonna
know.
tweet her.
Depends if it's African, it'd be more.
Yeah.
Each syllable would be pronounced.
You have to find the origin.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
if the
tweet her.
origin is African. I'm not. I'm just assuming. Then
All
they
right.
would pronounce each.
We are horrible, horrible human
Sorry,
beings.
guys.
Speaking of
Maybe
forgiveness,
Ashley can come and tell us
yes.
how to pronounce her name.
Well, I assume that is all the news and gossip we have.
That's it.
That's
oh,
it.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I love the way we were just talking before we went on air, how these spoiler alerts get out, because normally with cast, they don't say anything about this show. But as you know, even when I spoke to Madeline, this cast is terrible. They always leak everything.
Because you know,
Or do you think it's deliberate?
I think especially with ABC, it's probably
Yeah.
probably someone's deliberate. They let them know
Yeah.
how much they can talk. I mean,
That's what I was
here's the
wondering.
thing. I've met a lot of cast members that they kind of can tell spoilers, and they know what they can let out, because it creates those kind of I got to go see it.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe you're right, because normally cast on any show won't tell you anything.
And
Anything.
I know the big thing is like, in the past it used to be like, hey, we don't want to give away the surprises. And I don't think they're giving a lot of surprises away. It makes us kind of intrigued, and hopefully more people will watch it. And also dramatic irony for the most part. Like, right, anytime you see a movie for the second time, it might actually be more enjoyable because you already know what's going to happen, so you're just enjoying the ride rather than like, where's the surprise and blah, blah.
Right.
So there could be an element of that. So I think it's changing.
Right.
However, I could see also how in-depth this storyline is, that some of these castmates might make a mistake and a slip-up.
Maybe.
With
it's
all
just
the
that.
information, I mean, I could see that, and they're like, oh, I probably shouldn't have said that.
Steven, let's get into predictions, and just one last thing.
And now, Your AfterBuzz TV
We did
prediction.
an interview for some other show. I don't want to reveal what it was, but this poor guy, it was a reality competition show, and he literally gave away the season finale before the first episode even aired. We had, because of our relationships with the network and things like that, we gladly took it down. But yeah, it was a reality star. He was a little bit drunk. Revealed the season finale.
NDA, that's so serious.
So if you guys are interested in reality competition, I'll tell you behind the scenes who the winner of a show is. Anyway, predictions for actual revenge wedding episode. As we talked, we're excited for a party.
Yes.
We love a good party.
And what a better party than a joyous wedding between two loving souls.
Yes, two people that love each other so deeply.
It's so sad.
There we go. I mean, from the teaser, you can play Steven, you can play the music a little bit more. There you go. No, but we didn't really get much from this teaser apart from that and him going to jail.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly think there's going to be, Mason's going to be involved. I think we haven't seen the last of Kara.
Obviously not. No, there's going to be more with Kara. And also, I guess Mason left that folder at the end of the show. What is in that? He dropped it near Amanda.
I think like test results of like proving that the DNA or the blood does not match between Kara Wallace, which we know is Kara Clarke.
Yeah.
Before she was married, I guess.
Can we double up on the wedding? Can we have Amanda and Jack?
And
You think they might get married too?
Yeah, let's just make it a double wedding.
Yeah.
I disagree, Gabby. I think that because he brought up the scar, that it's going to actually be
too,
that it's going to be pictures of the scar and pictures of them together when they were, or separately, maybe case files when they were.
So you think there's a lot in this folder?
It looked like a pretty thick folder.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
And you know, when you go into juvie or jail or whatever, you know, they take a picture. I think he's going to have pictures of both of them and, you know, with name tags probably.
However, with the scar thing,
I like that.
You can get scars removed, correct?
Can you completely?
I don't know, but maybe, well, with treatment, I'm not sure, but like she said, she removed it. So she could always go with that clean.
But unless Emily still has it and somehow you see the back of Emily.
But how can she be like forced to show her back when Emily is not involved?
Right.
At all. Like she might think
She
that's
obviously
like
doesn't wear
a
a bikini.
violation.
I think
right?
for me, the storyline I would like to most see. I don't really, to be honest, I'm not really looking forward to the wedding aspect of this. I want to see Nolcorp and where that's headed, and Daniel kind of rising to power, and Aiden, things like that. That's what I'm interested in seeing in this Mason storyline, which I think we'll get. But I'm not really, you know, I don't. My thirst doesn't get quenched with the wedding.
Well, a little bit for me because I do want to see why Conrad's being arrested.
Yes.
That could be interesting, and I'm sure Charlotte somehow she's gonna get in there and involved. So apart from that, unless you guys have any other predictions,
I think that Kara is going to turn against both her daughter and Victoria.
Okay.
okay.
I think she has it. She is not, I guess, fully recovered. I think she's going to go against her. Yeah.
And at some point, I guess they're going to find out Gordon is not alive.
Yeah.
That's when she'll really freak out.
And there's a worry that Aiden and Kara might see each other.
Exactly.
Which I think is down the line as well. Yeah. But until that happens, where can we follow all of you guys on Twitter? Let's start with you, Gabby. I'm
on Twitter at Gabrielle_Loren.
You can follow me at Koppel for Mayor, KOPPELFORMAYOR.
And I'm going crazy now on the Twitter, aren't I? So
yes, you are.
I'm at Twitter and just got on Instagram as well at Katherine Tulich, KATHERINETULICH.
Well, thank you all, and of course follow us here at AfterBuzz TV. That's at AfterBuzz TV on Twitter. Until next week, we'll see you on Twitter.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.